And Saints put a whooping on them bucks, huh? Hello! Mr. Ed here. Today is November the 12th, 2020. I'm in our bee yard right here at the Abbey. And yeah, I was reading the paper, but that's not the reason I brought the newspaper out. I actually have to use the paper to go ahead and merge this hive right here with this hive. This hive right here, these are the bees that I just brought in from the last removal that Charlie Ralph and I did in Slidell. We had caught the queen right here. When we went through the bee vac, we found her and captured her and I caged her and we put her inside the box. 2 days later, when I came to release her, which is my standard procedure, 2 days she's in the cage, I come back and release her. I came back and I took the top off and there's the queen cage up on the top. Tons of bees on top of it, you know, perfectly expected to see all that. And as I reached to pull the cage out from the top of the box, as I pulled it up, normally when you pull that cage up, there's going to be dozens of bees inside of the cage with the queen. This one, there was not one bee inside of it, but there were 3 hive beetles inside of that cage. You know, and our queen, she was dead. Yeah, and here we are, you know, almost the middle of November. Nectar flows over. There's hardly any new brood in our boxes. There's basically no drones to mate with new queens, and we have a dead queen. So you don't have a lot of options. It's not like I can go to another hive, pull out a frame of brood with eggs on it, and drop it in here and let them do it again, make another queen. At this point of the game, it's just not going to happen. So the best option that these bees have is for me to merge them with another hive. I'm going to merge it with the hive Charlie and I had pulled out from underneath that house, the 3-foot high beehive removal right here. Now these guys, you can see these guys are rolling right here. In fact, there's a rubber band hanging out of one of their entrances on this one. So these guys are rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this hive with, and when I merge them, what I do is I just take newspaper and I'll spread the newspaper, and it'll be 2 sheets. I'll put 2 sheets down. I'll take the lid off of this box right here and the inner cover, and then I'll spread the newspaper over all the frames on that, and then I'll just lift this box and set it on top of this box right here. And what the newspaper does, it does not allow the bees to come into contact with each other instantly. It will allow the bees in this box to start getting familiar with the pheromone of the queen in this one, and the bees in this box to start getting familiar with, now they got something else above them, and they're less likely to attack and kill them. Now this box has a good deal of honey in it, but this one had a good deal of honey in it too. And so it'll make a good merge, I think. It'll be a good merge. I mean, normally I don't merge hives, but I don't want to lose these bees, so I'm going to go ahead and merge them with it. Now, it'll take about 2 days for this process to really be complete. When I lay the newspaper on top of this hive right here, the bees from below, they're going to start chewing out the bottom of the newspaper right here. They'll start chewing holes in it. And eventually, probably it may be within 24 hours, the bees from this box will already have started moving up into this box right here. But it's a slow process, and making it a slow process, it's better chance that these bees will accept these bees and these bees will accept these bees. Because they've been queenless now for 2 days, and I did that on purpose, I really want to make sure that these bees knew that they were queenless, and that by waiting that 2 extra days to put them on here, they're more readily open to accepting the pheromone of another queen. So that's why I waited these 2 days. As far as the reason why my queen died in there, I went to a really knowledgeable source of bees, and I'm going to explain to you the theory that he proposed to me, why this happened. Because this is the first time I'd ever seen this. In all the years I've been doing this, I have never seen a dead queen in a cage with no bees in it. I've had dead queens in the cage before, but even then they were full of bees because they still wanted their queen. But this was the very first. But there were the hive beetles in there. So this is what this very, very wise beekeeper told me, what his theory was. And he had told me that when you're doing queen rearing, if you stack a full frame of queen cells on a frame, 24 cells on a frame, and drop that in your box, and one of those cells gets a beetle in it, that the bees will start propolizing that cell to contain the beetle inside that cell, and that queen will then die. And being that I found beetles in this cage, I think that this theory that this very, very, very wise beekeeper proposed to me, I think it may hold water, because the bees push the beetles into this cage, and then they want to starve them out. And by starving out the beetles, at the same time they starved out their queen, and she perished. So I think that it makes sense that that theory does hold water. And so, since I don't have anything else to go on, I'm gonna use the wisdom of this wise beekeeper. You're not gonna believe what beekeeper told me this information. That's right, the 628 dirt rooster. I hate it when that guy comes up with that good information that actually may be true. But anyway, so let's go ahead and remove the lid from this box, take the inner cover off of it, place our newspaper down, and go ahead and drop our box on top of this. Like I said, it's going to be a 2-day process, but we'll pick this up when I go ahead and show you what the hive looks like with the newspaper chewed out. So let's go ahead and pop the top and put the newspaper on. But I'm going to put my suit on first. Now, one of the reasons why I chose to use this hive right here is because the bees that have already oriented on this location of this box right there, once I do this transfer over to here, I'm going to remove this. And the bees that are out foraging right now, when they come back and this box isn't here, they are going to come into this box right here. So this is another reason why I selected this box to use. But also, I really think that this hive is going to be a really healthy hive, and they're going to be able to support the additional space as well as the bees. So let's go ahead and take off this inner cover and see what we got going. Oh, this is wonderful. Other than all these hive beetles on the top of this. So we're going to squish all these things. There must be 50 of them up here. Oh, it's terrible. And this time of the year, this is when the hive beetles can really run rampant in your hives. So these bees have pushed these hive beetles up into the inner cover. They've corralled them up here. But of course, it was to their own demise. So now they're dead. All those hive beetles are dead. And I guarantee there's 20 of them that I just squished. But I'm looking at this box right here, and so you won't just take my word. I'm going to grab the camera and show you how many bees are in this box. This is a very good example of the number of bees that I would have to merge this next colony with. So this is really nice. Let me grab the camera and show you. Now here you go. Look at the number of bees between the frames here. This is really what you want to see. This hive is just thriving. And these bees were removed. It's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks since we removed it. Now, here's a rubber band that they've cut right here. They've cut that. I'm just going to help them out. Take that out of there. But they're cutting the rubber bands, and let me show you here. They're dragging them outside of the hive right here. We'll pull this one out for them as well. So that's what they do. They cut the rubber bands and drag them out. And they'll cut the rubber bands when they have secured the comb that I place in those frames. When that comb is secure, they know it's time to cut that rubber band. So these bees are doing really, really good. I'm happy to see this. Wonderful. And now we're going to go ahead and lay our newspaper on top of them. All right. And like I said, I double up the newspaper because I don't, one sheet, they'll just go through that so fast. So 2 sheets, I feel so much better having 2 sheets on there than just 1 sheet. So I simply cover the lid. That's all I do. And I get my, now I'm going to take this one. Let's see how many bees we got in here. Well, there's only 2 frames of bees clustered in right here. So their numbers are not very strong. Of course, there weren't a lot of bees in there to begin with, but there's a lot of stores in here, and so I think it's going to be a good match. So we're going to go ahead and lift our box up, and it's heavy. It's about 40 pounds, and we're going to just set it right on top of our other box with our newspaper in between it. We're going to go ahead and remove this because we don't want to keep any kind of reminder that there was a hive here, that these bees, they'll gather right here, but eventually they're going to make their way over here. I'm going to close this up. We're going to call that a day. So 2 more days. Today is Wednesday, so on Friday we'll come out here again. We'll remove this box. I'll show you the paper, how they've chewed through it, and hopefully we won't have created a disaster. Alright, so we'll pick this video up again on Friday. Welcome back. It's now Saturday. 3 days have passed since I put the newspaper in between the 2 boxes. So today we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take the top box off, remove all this paper, and then I'll show you what it looks like since I put it on there. So when I take off the lid, the first thing I see is there's not a lot of bees up here, just about still the same amount that was up here before, so we haven't had a mass migration of bees from that bottom box up here. They must not have eaten all the way through that paper, but certainly it's been enough time for these bees below them to meet their new neighbors. And they haven't chewed really all that much through the paper. There's a couple of chew holes right here on this corner, back here. But basically, they really haven't chewed through it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off at this point. These bees, they're good to go. Just put it back on top. And now, our bees in that lower box, and you saw all those, they're going to just move up on here onto all this comb, start occupying this. Now these combs, I just want to see right now, make sure I got no beetles on it. I mean, this comb looks great. Really nice and dry. It's the way you want to find it. Still want to make sure we got no larva, beetle larva. Now here's some more, all dry. And I'm looking now, I don't see any sign of maggots in here. Absolutely perfect stuff. And this is what you want to find, this dry comb. Yeah, I see 2 beetles walking around on this. Well, one now. Got them both now. So all this stuff is looking very, very good. All right, good job. Successful job there, and these bees now be merged with the other ones. Now, there's not a lot to merging a hive. Using the paper trick is a great method of doing that. I'm sure there's other ways, but that's the way that I know, and that's the way I've been using since I started keeping bees. And I'm not one to normally merge hives because I don't really like the idea of taking a hive that's weak and introducing it to a stronger hive, because it may have issues with that. Parasites may be in it causing it to be weak, and then I'd be infecting a stronger hive. But in this case, it was a worthwhile gamble to do that. So that's all I got for you in this one. So thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. God bless. Mr. Ed, I'm out here until the next video.